This episode is brought to you by The Therapy Album by Rob D. My first album, the album that got everything started and going for me. Stream it everywhere. It's available on all platforms. Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to the Puras Pendejadas podcast. I am your host, Rob D, and it is hot as a motherfucker out here, man. For those that live outside of town, that don't live near, or for the new audience that we may have, I live in El Paso, Texas, and right now it's the middle of summer, and I don't remember exactly what number we're on and stuff like that, but I think we just broke the record, or we're gonna break the record, like of how many consecutive days it's been, like 100 plus. I think the record was like 22, 23 days of like consecutive hot ass fucking days. But it's hot, man. It's fucking hot as shit. I'm in my garage. This is where I shoot the podcast and everything. I have the garage door a little cracked open because it's fucking hot, man. And then if I have the AC running, you know what? You guys don't need to know my business. Let's just say I'm hot. All right. So if you see me a little red and shit, that's why I was fucking sweating. But anyways, so I wanted to talk about a few things, right? So number one, 4th of July, right? And I was observing how my dog deals with the fireworks and stuff, you know what I mean? And then I was also taking into account how other people talk about their dogs, you know what I mean? And there, our dog is he's very special, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, he's my first experience of like raising a dog, I guess that's what you want to call it, you know what I mean? Like being fully responsible for him and stuff. But I say that to say, like, I've learned a lot from him, right? There's a lot of frustrating things that I go through with him. But oh, did you guys see my shirt? Check this shit out. Pretty dope, huh? Sorry. So I've learned a lot, right? And I would say the majority of the stuff, like, he's pretty good. He got house trained really. He caught on really quick, thanks to my wife. So we really don't have. Well, of course, it's normal, right? You have a dog, they're gonna pee, they're gonna shit inside the house, but it's not like a recurring thing. You know what I mean? Or at least how I've heard others talk about it. Is this bitch recording? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. And so I say that to say, that's another thing too. We ran into dogs, going out for a run or a walk and stuff, and he does pretty good. He's not. I know for a fact he's not aggressive. He's a German Shepherd, and I know for a fact he's not aggressive, right? Contrary to popular belief, but he's very protective. So that's the thing. He's very protective, which it's in his DNA. I get it, but because of that, okay, so when we go out walking, when we go out running, I feel like I have a weapon on me. You know what I mean? And it feels good. It feels good. Like, I'm walking, I'm running. If I'm constantly, when I run, I'll run with like one earbud in, because I feel weird just not being aware of my surroundings and stuff. You know what I mean? So I try to be, aware, but there's sometimes where, like, I don't catch something and he'll like veer off, or like I'll see him like turning. I'm like, what? I didn't see nothing there. And I like take a double take, like, oh shit, that's right. So he has come in handy. You know what I mean? We've ran into big dogs, small dogs, and he does really good. He just, I picture like some type of conversation going on. You know what I mean? Because depending on the dog, you know what I mean? We've ran into like aggressive-ish dogs, and then like to calm dogs. And he kind of like de-escalates the situation, which is really cool to see. And I have him like on a retractable leash and stuff, so he can, go quite a ways away from me. And I don't tug on the leash. I'm not yelling at him to like, stop, my boy, come back, stop. I don't do that shit. So yeah, I just let him do his thing. I trust him. Like he trusts me. I know he trusts me, and I trust him too. So when that stuff happens, they're just like staring at each other, and I kind of like imagine like this conversation going on, like, oh man, like, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? No, man, they just let me out. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. Like, all right, cool, but chill, man. This is my owner. I gotta take care of him. So just step off, whatever it is. And then you kind of like just see him like, all right, cool. And then we keep on walking. And they stay there. We walk away, and of course he's kind of like, all right, you heard me, right? Like, don't try nothing. And it's really cool to see. So that being said, I think the number one thing I dread, that's the pro of him being protective, right? Oh, and then with the kids too as well, checking up on them and stuff like that. It's really cool. Now the con to that shit is the number one thing is taking him to the vet. It is a fucking nightmare, and I can't figure that shit out yet. He just goes blackout mode. You know what I mean? We have to put a muzzle on him. They have to fucking. It's a fucking horror show, and it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Because he just like, as protective as he is, he like, rah, 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 and I'm like, hey, and he's like, shut the fuck up, like, rah, 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 rah. Like, he doesn't want to fucking hear it. So it's just like, god damn it, man. So that, and then he's pretty good at the house. He'll like alert us, like, hey man, there's something going on. Excuse me, I have allergies, or at the beginning, whatever, you don't care. So he'll let us know, like, hey, there's someone coming or whatever, and he's not that bad, but depending on the person too, might get a little iffy, or if they show up and they don't let us know. Anyways, that's like the annoying part, and I'm just trying to figure that part out, right? So then now full circle, right back to the 4th of July. I think, at least for our situation, right, with my dog. Okay, not your dog, my dog. Okay. Yes, he freaks out. Well, no, he doesn't freak out. Well, okay, so he'll hear the fireworks and stuff, and yeah, he'll start barking and stuff, right? But then I tell him, hey, all right, stop. And then depending on how big the boom was and stuff, he like keep on barking. But then he looks at me like, you got this shit? Or at least that's what I think. And then I'm like, hey, just calm down, calm down. And then he'll like, okay. But if we let him out by himself and stuff, then yeah, he'll bark up at the storm and whatever. He's doing his job. But then once he's with us, he kind of like, all right, cool. And then they'll be going off and stuff. And as long as we're close, as long as we're around inside, he's just like chilling. He's on his bed. Like he'll kind of like turn around, look at me, and I'm like, all right, calm down. So he's pretty good. Versus I've heard other stories with other pet owners where they're like, no, my dog is like under the couch about to fucking die and fucking shaking like crazy and this and that, and I'm like, well, like cool, like, but that's not really my dog, I guess everybody's different. Then we go outside and we pop some and we see some and stuff, and yeah, like if he'll hear or see some, he'll like, rah, 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 rah. He's not perfect. I'm not saying we're fucking perfect here. But then I tell him, all right, hey, calm down. He'll look at me and like, wait, what? Did you hear that? And he'll bark here and there. But then for the most part, he's under control for the most part, okay? Compared to other shit I hear around the fucking neighborhood. But anyways, that's just my dog, okay? And I have to chalk it up to like, I think it all depends on like how your I don't even want to say your relationship with your dog is, but like how you raise them, how comfortable they are. There's a communication there. So if you baby them all the time, then I guess, you know what I mean? It's a trip because, the 4th of July just happened. So like you get to hear all these things, and the number one thing is, oh, my dog, or they ran away. That's another thing too. I'm pretty sure it's not just in our city, it's in every city where, they get all scared and shit, and they open the door and boom, they're gone. Why? I don't know. Where are they going? I don't know. But yeah, it's like a problem. So I am very grateful that my dog doesn't give us a problem there, at least. So he's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. But like I said, that I need to figure that one out, man. That vet visit, because we'll have family over and he's pretty cool, you know. Um, but it's just like, I don't know. I gotta figure that shit out, man. So, if you could steer me in the right direction, I've gone YouTube videos, Caesar Milan, this other guy, I forgot his name. And another thing too is like time. You know what I mean? So like, you have to invest so much time and stuff, and like between life and shit. Like I try, you know. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see like at the beginning, like, no, like in the springish of a couple months ago. Um, well, I had stopped before that, right? I had stopped going for a run because of my knee or whatever. And so, like in the spring, I bought him, his spoiled ass, a fucking treadmill to get him on there, you know, because he's been gaining a lot of weight too. So then, you know, I was like, oh, it's gonna be hard, but you know, we'll get through it. And you know, I lasted maybe like a couple weeks and stuff. And this motherfucker here, man, Jesus Christ, he is so stubborn. It's almost like we're connected. You know what I mean? Like I'm very stubborn. You know what I mean? Like and that could be good or that could be bad. My kids, I'm learning, are very stubborn too, and that's what I'm telling them. And you know, um, if you listen to the last episode, Haley was saying how I tell them that that's their superpower. They just got to learn how to tweak it, learn how to control it, and they'll be good. Um, but then the fucking dog is stubborn as shit too, man. Like again and again, like the same shit. And I was just like, and then also, I guess this isn't his fault either. His size, you know, the treadmill is only, it can only be so big. So when he gets on, now he could do it if he wanted to, but it doesn't help. You know, maybe if he was a little bit smaller, it would help the situation. But either way, man, it was a, it was a lost cause. I guess I'll try later on when I ain't got shit to do. Um, but I'll see how it goes. So we started using the treadmill, right? Or my wife started using the treadmill. So I guess it wasn't all bad. But yeah, man, that's where we're at. So I don't like to say I'm a dog lover because I've seen pet lovers and dog lovers, and I am not that. But you know, I don't hate them. You know, I have one. I'm around some, but mm, I'm definitely a owner. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't like to blind myself, you know, with the love and stuff and be like, oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Leave him alone. Don't bother him, you know? I don't even treat my kids like that. Why would I treat a dog like that? Me. I'm talking about me here, okay? If you do it, whatever. Next thing I want to talk about was technical difficulties, right? Well, no. Okay. We'll segue into that. Again, I want to talk about, no, you know what? Let's stay on that. Technical difficulties. Okay. So last episode, right? If you guys have been following the show, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But you guys have seen that we've slowly been adding video to it. And last episode, we didn't have any video. Now, at a certain point, and I kind of talked about this a little bit on my Instagram. Um, at a certain point, I found myself getting stressed out and like panicking, like fuck, 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 fuck. So what had happened was I had Haley here and shot the podcast, right, the video, and then when it was all over and stuff, I could see the video, right. So I start editing it and stuff, or I began to, and then what happened? I had it almost ready. Everything was edited, and then what happened? I think it was the next day. Yeah, I think I left it for the next day. So everything was ready to go, and I was like, you know what? That's it. I gotta call it a day or whatever. But I'll start rendering or whatever. You know what I mean? Finalizing it, whatever. I don't want to get too technical and shit and lose you. But basically, like getting it ready. So then, um, I started the next day, and it said like no media found, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just edited all this shit. And then I just started going into the fucking YouTube rabbit hole, started like overthinking shit, started worrying. Like it became a job, you know, which is fine. I don't mind it as long as I could get it resolved and stuff. But then I was like, and then I noticed like I lasted, shit, man. I don't know. I think my wife would be able to tell you better than me. But in my head, I guess I lasted a couple of days trying to figure it out. And I was like, fuck. Like this, because it got to a certain point where it said you had to format it, format the card, the memory card. For you, those of you that aren't, familiar with those terms and shit, basically you have to like it when you format it, you have to erase all the content. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I can't even save it first and then format it because I didn't do that. One lesson learned, right? And so then I was like, fuck, so this is going to be the only way to fix it. And I'm like, damn it. So then I formatted it, go into YouTube, see how to maybe recover, went through all that shit. That's a whole fucking process. Then it turns out still couldn't view the content. Then I did that twice over again because I was like, maybe I did it wrong. A lot of time consumed, right? And then finally I was like, fuck, man, I can't get it. What am I going to do? And that's where I stopped myself and I was like, don't do nothing. Don't worry about it. Just charge it to the game. You just learned the lesson. You don't know why it happened, but there's no rules. And this is what I love about this shit so much is that there's no rules. I could be on here by myself. I could have someone here. I could have video. I could not have video. Whatever. You know what I mean? I can have my kids. I can have an artist. I can have a fucking the president. I can have whoever the fuck for however long. Okay, that's why I'm doing this shit. That's why I love to do this stuff because I make the calls. Right? We have the power. I don't have to finish this, edit it, turn it in, see what they say, blah 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 blah. Which is one reason why we're on Spotify now. But if you want to know, ask me. If not, I'm not about to do that. So, so then I was like, fuck it. Everything revolves back to fuck it. And then once I did that, I was like, yeah. If you could scroll down and look at previous podcast episodes, they didn't have video. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't seeing this shit any fucking way. You know what I mean? And I say this not to like, me, please watch me. No, I'm saying it so like just in case you want to do a podcast, you want to do anything, right? When you first start, you're going to suck. But then if you keep doing it, you have a learning curve. And then if you really put your time and energy into it, then you're going to get better. It's just how it works, right? So right now, I'm taking advantage that not a lot of people are watching or tuning in and having the little fuck ups, having the little errors. If you go back to previous podcasts, you'll be able to see like there's one where the audio was all fucked up. You know what I mean? I ended up getting it from the laptop, which I didn't even do on purpose. I don't know how the fuck that happened. So there's just, but the point is just do it. Do it, learn. That way you don't do it again and then keep going. Keep going. This is like, what's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? Someone's going to point it out and then you'd be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I fucked up, but I know what happened now. That's it. We worry about like humans, like we create problems and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like we like to worry. I don't, or I don't think I do, or I probably do. I just don't know where and stuff. But like I try to make it a thought. Like once I'm going there, then it's like, no. Unplug that. Don't even start that worry. So then that's what I did. Got the audio ready and then just fucking uploaded it. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then we had a fucking great time, And then so now, right? Fast forward to now. Now it's I don't know exactly what happened, right? But what I'm assuming now, based on all this videos I've watched and like recovery stuff and like all this different type of shit, right? Is the SD card that I was using. Okay. So apparently it couldn't, it wasn't, what is the fucking, see, I don't know everything. It's like, it wasn't for like 4K, right? Which is what we're shooting in. or at least that's what the format says. I don't know. I don't fucking care as long as the fucking video records. But apparently it has to be in that. Um, and the SD card that I was using, I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, this one doesn't say that. And I would see another one I had. I'm like, oh, I should use that one. I was like, okay. So this is the product of learning the lesson from last episode. So hopefully you guys are seeing me right now. If not, I got some fucking work to do. And fuck it, that's the only way I'm going to learn. I am doing, and again, I'm not saying this for pity. I, I'm saying this to let you know, like, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can fucking do it, really. I'm doing this by myself. I got the camera set up. I got, you know, everything, the mics and the editing. I do everything. The editing, the directing, if you want to call it that, producing, upload it, everything from start to finish. It's all me, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just the truth. You know what I mean? Nobody is telling me to do this. Shit, if anything, I think some people don't want me to do this. You know what I mean? Or, oh, you're going in there again. You know what I mean? But it's just, I'm doing this because, one, I'm learning that I really like to do this, and two, I look at my life where I'm at, and most of the time, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing anymore, right? And I've already tried going the legit route and finding another, job and stuff like that. And like, here, this is why you should hire me because, like me, please. It's just, I'm over it. You know what I mean? I'm not, and I don't want to sound negative and shit. I'm over the whole, like, I've tried it already. You know what I mean? And I get it. Nothing is easy. And if you really want something, you have to keep on trying. And I think my issue is, my education. I only have a high school diploma. All right. And yeah, of course, that's holding me back. I'm not about to go back to school because honestly, I could come up with all these excuses and shit. I just don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't want the headache that I see or that I can that will come with that. You know what I mean? Unless there was something like specific, like I want to be a fucking whatever there's a degree out there for. I want to be a mechanic, and I'm gonna put myself through school and family. We're gonna have to work through this shit and blah blah blah. But I have to like really love to do it. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I can like go to school for and be like, I'm going for this. I'm not gonna go back to school to go to get my basics and then not even know, fuck around. Me, okay? If you do it, cool. It's your situation. Everybody's different. I'm talking about me. So, and in my life situation, all our situations are different. I have a family, I have priorities and shit. So then going back, right? So I tried looking for a job. I tried this. I tried that. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, right? So then now I see what an opportunity this might become, right? Which is, all right, cool, but it's way easier said than done, Rob. Like, what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna have? What's the format gonna be like? Are you really gonna be having like? These are all things I thought about, right? And you can hear them in past episodes where I'm kind of just like fucking around, like I don't even know what direction I'm going in. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, and after talking to certain people too, I kind of like, oh, I know. I just want to do it my way. Like, I don't even care what it is. You know what I mean? Plus, shit that that I talk about here or that I have in conversations with people might end up helping someone, figure something out. That's why I like doing this shit. That's the core of it. That's the core of why I'm doing music too, because I want to help. I see how everybody, like, the world is like fucking weird right now. And I chalk it up to like everybody's fed up. Everybody's like, fuck this shit. Fuck, insert whatever problems. You know what I mean? And it can't just be one thing. It's this and then it's that and then this and then that. So it's just like, we need direction. You know what I mean? I am not your savior by any fucking means of the fucking word, or the situation. I'm just saying, like, if I could help, you know what I mean? If you're thinking about doing anything. You know what I mean? And you just might need like that push. I'm using myself as an example. You could see it. You know what I mean? You could go back and go back. Oh, wait. Go back and check out the first episode. It was shit. I think it was recorded off of my phone. I don't even remember, but it was shit, right? Then there's another one, like I just said, there's another one. The audio was fucked up. This past episode where there's no video because I had trouble with it, right? But you keep on going, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I just finished listening to a podcast right now where there was this this comedian, right? And he was saying like, oh man, he was on a podcast, right? And he was telling the host, like, as soon as I get me a good producer, man, I might start one of these. And then the host was like, no, I don't even know why I'm not saying the names. And that's that bullshit too, where like we don't give out information to help people. You know what I mean? Like, just help people. I have very little people reaching out and being like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And all if I can, if I remember, or if I know how or whatever, I'll give them the information. What equipment do you have? Here you go. I'll send you the link. I'll let you know, look, this YouTube video helped me out, or whatever it is. Like, why? There's enough out here for everybody. There's enough opportunity out here for everybody. So anyway, so it was the Joe Rogan podcast. It was this comedian called Ali Sadiq, right? And he was telling Joe how, in the middle of the podcast, he's like, as soon as I get me a good producer, I might start me a podcast too. And then Joe was like, why do you have to wait? Like, you could do this by yourself. And I was like, that's the mentality we need to have. You know what I mean? And that goes for everything. That goes for everything. And that's what I apply, because fuck waiting for everybody. Like, I've waited, nothing happens. Or you run into these piece of shit people that have other intentions. You know what I mean? So it's like, just do it yourself. You got your phone, right? Everybody has a phone. You got YouTube. Look that shit up, man. That's the best school I've been taking myself to. You always learn something new. You're always going to be running into fucking problems and shit. But you just figure the shit out if you really want it. If you don't, if you're experimenting and shit, all right, man. Whatever. I don't even think that's a bad thing. You're actually trying something new, so I commend you for that. But as far as for me, that's one thing that I'm like over with. You know what I mean? I'm over just like sitting at places and just being like, I don't want this no more. I'm done. This is not my life. This is not what my life is supposed to be at all. There's no way. It doesn't add up. In my head, it doesn't add up, because I find that I do have passion to do stuff. It's just not certain stuff, stuff that I'm told to do. Do this, do that. No, I don't want to. You know what I mean? But in the end, you have to. Why? Because you have to provide for your family. You have to provide for yourself. You know what I mean? So, and I get a little like good jealous when I hear people like just fucking dipping out, just being like, all right, fuck it, and then just fucking leave. I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that. I can't do that. But I can provide myself an opportunity. Why? Because that's the world that we live in right now. All that is required is work. You just have to work. That's all you have to do. Put in the work. That's it. And then in the end, you get a result, which you can apply to everything. You can apply to your body. You can apply to anything. That's all we have to do. You don't need a degree. You don't need that. Does it help? Yes, depending on everybody's goals and stuff. I'm not talking down about school and shit. I'm just saying, as far as my situation, right? That's what I've realized. If you really want something, figure this shit out. Figure it out, apply it, and you're going to fuck up. It's like everything else. It's like riding a bike. When you first learn how to ride a bike, you're going to fall, you're going to trip, you're going to catch yourself, and the next thing you know, every time you ride, you're going to learn how to catch yourself and avoid falling. That's all it is. Just fucking work, okay? Whatever it is. And that's the voice I have in my head. That's why I've figured out how to get on Spotify now, is because, and I'm not like, yay, team YouTube, team Spotify, team. I'm team me. You know what I mean? These are just platforms. I'm not holding them up on a fucking, putting them up on a pedestal, right? It's just a better opportunity for you guys to experience the podcast. But that's how I learn, because I'm constantly like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? How do I, what's the next thing? Oh, how's this going? Okay, cool. How's this going? I've reached out to podcasters too and be like, hey, how do you get your podcast on these platforms? Oh, we use this and this and this. Oh, really? Yeah, but that's a really good example. So now I'm gonna segue into the next thing, getting the podcast on Spotify, right? And I don't want to make this about, again, whatever, companies, right? They don't really care about you, so you gotta um, take the wheel, if you will. You know what I mean? I just don't want this to be negative and say fuck these companies, because at the same time, man, they don't give a fuck about you either. All right, they don't give a fuck about you. Please understand that, okay? Perfect example, and I'm saying this because it's public record and shit, or they've told people, all right? If you guys have ever heard of the 85 South Show, okay, that's a podcast turned into a show. Really, really good. I really like it, okay? But their situation is this. They started their own app, okay? And then they're releasing all their content through there. Now, there's a subscription you have to pay, right? But they, as far the way I found them, and their main thing before that was YouTube. So now with YouTube, what they were doing is they would start cutting their podcasts, or they would only put up to a certain point, 30 minutes or some shit like that. So when I would listen or watch, I'm like, hey, what the fuck, man? Like, really? And then they would go on there, they would edit in a clip and be like, if you guys want more, check out the app. And I'm like, man, this is some bullshit. Like, what the fuck, man? So then I stopped watching, you know what I mean? Or I get notifications. I'm like, I don't know what for. They're gonna cut it off, right? But then they started. I saw a recent interview, right? And they were talking about how YouTube was demonetizing some of their videos, and they were just like coming up with some bullshit ass excuses. You know what I mean? And basically, and for those that don't know, right? 'Cause I don't even fucking really understand how that shit works either. And I have to. Is you get monetized, and that's how you make money, right? So what YouTube was doing, they were like, you can't make money off of this, and they're like, why not? And then they would just, according to them, okay, this is what they said, that they were just coming up with some bullshit ass excuses every time, and they're like, all right, man. And then they just within themselves, they're just like, you know what, fuck this, let's do our own shit. So then they started looking into it. Boom, the app comes. Now they're like, all right, now we know what to do. Put everything on there. Keep the YouTube, but only, you know what I mean, split it up or whatever. Okay, cool. And mind you, these guys have like millions of views on, like, so what they do is that they have a podcast, right? And they do interviews sometimes, or sometimes they just shoot the shit with them themselves, you know what I mean? And then, but they also do these shows, these live shows. And, oh, wait, I got all blurry. And what they do is, it's like it's really cool, man. You guys should check it out on YouTube. And they have a special on Netflix, which is like a sample of what all these shows are. It's fucking awesome, man. So those shows, they have millions of views. And so then now when they built their own shit, now they're telling everybody, and they don't post those anymore. They used to post those on the YouTube channel. They don't post the live shows anymore. They only do it on the app. So then they said that they were approached by YouTube, and they're like, hey guys, so what's going on? What's happening? And they're like, nothing. And they're basically trying to be like, how come you guys aren't posting? How come? They're like, oh, we're good. Oh, come on, and this and that. And they're like, wow. Now that they see us going our own way, now they want to try to work something out with us. You know what I mean? And again, this is what they said. They're like, this is better for us. Why? Because this is ours. You know what I mean? We're not on something where we have to be careful about what we say, what we do, and stuff like this. This is our content. You know? We don't have to stay on here. You know what I mean? And And that's my point. That's my point of view. You know what I mean? Create your own shit. You know what I mean? Create your own channel, create your own podcast, create your own music, create your own whatever the fuck, and own it. Make sure it's yours, and you could do whatever the fuck you want to. If I was, if it felt good, right, to like be able to have everything. Okay, this is why I like doing shit by myself or on my own. Not by myself. I need help, guys. I just like, is because when the time came and I figured out like, oh shit, I could get on Spotify. I just need, you need to upload everything. You need the files, right? You need not the stems, that's music, but you need like the MP4s and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. I got all that. You know what I mean? Versus, let's say if I was depending on someone else, could I just, hey, when you have time, can you send me this? Can I go pick up the drive? What if we got into some shit and we don't talk anymore? Or what if I have to go to a studio and now a studio's going to charge me and be like, what? You want all this shit? Yeah, sure. You got to pay this much though. And then me be like, fuck. And even then, if that's your situation, fuck it. Just start from scratch. You know what I mean? But to my situation, I'm like, it felt good to be like, I got all this shit. I got, from the thumbnails to the MP4s to everything. So just upload them. That's it. So that's what I've been doing this past week. On and off whenever I have time, just upload an episode, two episodes. That's it. And it's work, yeah, but I'd rather do that type of work because it benefits me. It benefits this. You know what I mean? It benefits the opportunity of being seen by more people to have this grow. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah. And again, upload. And yeah, sometimes it get annoying and shit, but what do I got to do really? Like copy paste, you know what I mean? Upload, make sure it uploads. Okay. Upload the thumbnail on there, make sure. Because I know everything is in the details, you know what I mean? I could have just kept this and blah, 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 whatever. But I'm like, no, you know what I mean? I'm putting questions out there. That way I can interact with you guys to grow. You know what I mean? So, but, and that's where I'm at right now. So, the mentality of just do it on your own or own it. You know what I mean? Even if you got to get a team, which is ideally what I would like, because this shit, by doing it by myself, yeah, I get to know how to do everything, but sometimes it's like, God damn it, man. But that's one thing that I hear too, is that everybody has a team. You know what I mean? This person does this person does that. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, like, okay. Oh, they got a team. Oh, okay. Now then you get a studio, and that's where eventually, a compound, that's where I want to, that's my goal. You know what I mean? To own the fucking building and just do all our shit from there. And we'll get there. You know what I mean? Not in a fucking hot ass garage and shit. Which, hey man, it's better than nothing. But yeah, man, that's where we're at. And then before I finish up here, I knew it was time because before, like I said, I would reach out to people, right? And be like, how do you get your shit on here? And then I would look into it. And I forget the name of the thing that you would use. It was like a distributor, right? And then it spreads the podcast out to the different networks, the different to Spotify, hombre, and all this other shit. So I looked into it, and I think my sister even had one, or used this. I forget the name of it. So then the way it was set up was you had to. It was free, but if you wanted the free version, there was a free and a paid version. The free version, you could upload up to 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I am not a fan of limits. You know what I mean? If I want to go for fucking 3 hours, if the conversation takes us there, cool. If it's only an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Cool, whatever. But I don't want that fucking burden. I don't want that. I want to go for as long. I don't want to be like, all right, guys, we got 20 minutes and, let's just go through these questions really quick. Blah, blah, blah. No, this isn't an interview. Like, this is a conversation. This is free flowing for me. Okay. If you have it your way, amen. More power to you. I'm just saying for me, the way I view it, I'm like, 30 minutes, I don't know about that. Now, at that point, I shied away. I was like, did I fuck up an opportunity? I don't know. To each their own, you know? Someone can view that and be like, fuck it, you know? Just cut it at 30 minutes because you're on all these other platforms or just Spotify. I don't even know. Whatever. On another platform. But to me, I was like, nah, that's a deal breaker to me. And now, if you wanted unlimited time, then that was a paid version of it. You had to go through that. And I'm like, fuck that. Because if I can go without paying for stuff, then that's my way. And that's how I figured another thing out too, is you have to invest in yourself. Like you just have to, right? But saying that, I always try to go and use a free version of something. You know what I mean? Or just not pay. You know what I mean? Because we already invest in ourselves so much, you know? Plus I have a life, I have a family. Like I'm not shitting out money. You know what I mean? Yet. And so anytime something comes up like, yeah, just for $10 a month and, you know, $20, I'm like, nah, bro. No, there has to be a different way. There has to be a different way. And that's how I've started everything. And this is the proof that there is, you know, or I am the proof. Now, if you are paying for certain things, I'm not talking bad about you either. It's just not for me, you know? And so then that shied me away from it. I'm like, oh, that's how you get the unlimited time. You have to pay. I see what you're trying to do. All right, whatever. So then fast forward a long ass time, and my wheels always going, right? I ran into this last week where I was like, all right, what else can we do? What else? Like, what are we doing? What, like, how can we grow and stuff? And I'm like, okay, so how did this program work again? Or I wonder if they updated anything. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get your podcast on other platforms? So I just started going through that fucking rabbit hole, and then boom, I ran into this thing where it's like, well, guess what, guys? Just a few months ago, Spotify bought, no, miento. A few years ago, Spotify had bought that company that I was talking to you about, right? I forget the name. They bought them, right? And so they've been working all this time, right? And then just a few months ago, now they have, I think it's called like Spotify for podcasters or something like that, whatever. But they merged that company into their shit, and now you have all these things where I'm like, oh, interesting. It's free, unlimited time. You can do video, not just audio, because that's another thing I've seen. A lot of podcasts on Spotify, it's just the audio, which is fucking fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? But for me, an upside would be video. Why? Because I've invested in myself and I want to be able to provide that option as well. So I'm like, oh shit, they have video too now. Like you could do a video because, let me see. I don't follow a lot of podcasts, but I would say out of maybe 4 or 5, not even, dude, probably like 4 podcasts that I have only on Spotify. It's just the audio. Oh no, 3 out of 4. All right, one of them is the Joe Rogan podcast, but that one I'm like, he has video. How come all these have audio only? I'm like, I wonder if they choose to do it like that. And then I'm like, they must be choosing it because Joe has video on his. Video is possible because he's doing it. Why don't all these other people do it? And if you're a little negative Nancy, you're probably saying like, well, because he practically owns the company, or probably because he has perks, you know, because of the deal. I don't, I don't know. I don't know, but that's how I just viewed it, right? As an overall, like, if he's doing it, why aren't they doing it, right? So then when I found this out, then I'm like, oh shit, I'm reading through. I'm like, oh wow, you can do this, you can do that. So the video, everything, and I'm like, I'm fucking in. Let me try this shit out. Set it up and everything. Started uploading, checking it out, and I'm like, this shit is legit. Cool. And then boom. Now we're where we're at. You know what I mean? So If you're seeing this shit on YouTube, if you're seeing this shit on Spotify, doesn't matter. Welcome. Thank you for checking this shit out. Eventually, we're going to get a website. Still trying to figure that out. That way, when the YouTube thing ends or whatever, or maybe we get off of Spotify, you know what I mean? We all will have a hub, and this is where we'll meet. You know what I mean? That's my long-term goal. But for now, this is what it's going to be. And I'm fine with it. But just to know that that's up ahead in the road, it's good to know. You know what I mean? It's good to know, like, wait a minute, when they see you having too much power or too much of anything, too much attention, too much, whatever the fuck. I don't know why they do what they do. You know what I mean? But it's almost like it's connected to your success. So the more successful you are, the more control they're going to try to take, And it's like, okay, I want to get to a certain point where I'm like, okay, bye. Louis C.K., perfect example. He's been dropping specials, and he does it on his website, and you go, you pay like, I don't know, $5, $10, some shit like that. And then that's it. You have access to it. And he makes a living like that. I don't want to be like famous. That's not why I'm doing none of this shit. I'm doing it because I want to enjoy my life. I want to do what I like to do, what I love to do in my life, right? From when I wake up to when I go to sleep. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? And everything else is just, icing on the cake. But that's what I want to do. So, like, the way I see Louis C.K. doing it, like, cool. He shoots movies or short films. I don't know what the fuck he does. But he does everything, and he's just, solely independent. You know what I mean? And I know independent got, like, a little overused with that, throughout the years and stuff, but it's just own your shit. Own your shit. Have control of your shit. If you're going to sign something, a contract, make sure you read it through. You know what I mean? Because they're just a resource. They're just going to help you. But then when they want to start owning shit, that's where you got to be careful. Because now, if you had your thing on one platform and you want to go to another platform, they might have the power to be like, no, bitch, sit down, shut up, and do the sing and dance for us. You know what I mean? Because this is what you agreed to. And then you're going to be like, life isn't fair, and this is bullshit. It's like, nah, man, this is what you signed up for. So do it by yourself. Not do it by yourself. That's what I'm doing. Do it on your own. Own it. All right? That's the fucking main point. That's my main point. So, with that being said, this is the Puras Pendejadas podcast. I am your host, Rob D. And I'll be dropping this shit whenever the fuck I want to, all right? Later.